Good evening, everybody. Matt Geary here for Geek Pride's Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign, The Legend of Our Sacrifice. With me tonight, we have the usual faces. We have Michael as Tharaval.
Good evening, everyone.
We have Wes as Valashil Nostius.
Hey, everyone.
We have Dave as Thomas Moonstar.
Evening.
Mark as Lance.
Greetings.
And Pete as Draken.
Good evening, everyone. And I'm drinking. Be warned.
Another pre-warning. My dog is storming around the house at this moment in time because his nemesis is out and about in the prowl, and he fucking hates that dog. He's just literally going mental at this moment in time. So if you hear me charging off to grab the dog, it's because he's trying to destroy stuff to get at this other dog. All right. Anyway, so right, bit of a catch up from last week. And then we'll move on. It's not going to be super exciting today because I think we were meant to do a lot of downtime stuff and we didn't. So we'll get that out of the way. So basically last week we had the group that were in Camber Ford. So Draken, Thomas, Val, and obviously Galandra being still sort of convalescing at this in one of the towers. They were trying to basically sort out the mess that had been left there, sort of kind of try and knit what was left of the survivors together. Draken did a rousing speech and managed to get them sort of kind of all inside pretty much. Chaos Braid, unfortunately, was being very belligerent, generally sort of ungrateful for everything, effectively refused to cooperate, and was trying to incite more rebellion, basically, within the fortification. That resulted in Lance and Draken trying to persuade him that it was in his best interest to shut up. He refused pretty much, so they dangled him off a bridge to sort of jog him slightly. Val, who was sort of upset about losing his mother and just generally sort of what had happened, had sort of taken to some booze in the tower, being looked at by Thomas, who was trying to sort of kind of reassure him. This was what happens when you autopilot Wes. You autopilot Val, by the way. He has obviously been quite emotional about the whole situation. Has seen sort of Chaos Braid being dangled off this sort of bridge and has gone down and went, right, he's one of the reasons that this all started. Or at least sort of a reason for it. And instead of sort of kind of helping, he's literally just cut the rope. So Chaos Braid would fall into the river and get carried away, and no doubt killed. In Val's sort of mind, that would be justice because he's a traitor, and it doesn't impinge his honor in any way, shape, or form. The other two, Draken and Lance. Lance basically tried to tackle Val to stop it from happening. Managed to sort of kind of restrain him after a few sort of few moments. Draken basically dove into the raging torrent of the river, raging, and saved Chaos Braid.
After I encouraged Val to get the hell out of the way.
Yeah, saved Chaos Braid and dragged him across to the other bank of the river, where he was quickly restrained by some of the soldiers, and continued to be belligerent, to be honest. To which Draken made some threats, and he he shut up, basically.
Demonstrated he does not have a sense of humour as much as Chaos Rage, and reinforced that sentiment.
Yeah.
And I've rolled a 20, so
yeah. And that was pretty much it for that part. Some other little bits and bobs going on. Basically arguing about where, like, Draken basically wanted to go off and see. Draken wanted to go off and see. Find Red Scale. Lance was like, well, we promised that we'd try and sort out. We promised Lady Taunt that we'd sort out the insurgency. So there was a bit of toing and froing there. While this was all happening, Tharaval and his brother Ciravel captured, just basically killed a crew on a merchant vessel. Took the merchant vessel with some kids, and managed to sail it back to Taunt with no knowledge of how to sail a ship at all. Managed to get it back to Taunt, and so your group, or at least they, are now the proud owners of a ship, which has to be named. So your first naval vessel, potentially with many more, because I've got naval combat.
Manned by child sailors.
Right, manned by child sailors. Yeah, Casper being one of them. Casper being one of the.
He can be the admiral.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So you have a ship. It needs to be named. I have naval combat rules now, so we can sort of kind of throw that in at some point in time.
You mean Firehawks?
Yeah. So that's it. It's currently in dock. Tharaval's paid sort of some of the local dock workers to sort of go out and get it and stick it in dock. And he's made his way.
The title should. Sorry, I still vote we call it 5-finger discount.
That's great. And he's made his way back to Taunt to await your arrival. And that, in a nutshell, is what happened. So, from this point on, so Tharaval and Ciravel made their way back to Taunt. As for the rest of you in Camber Ford, we'll start there. So, what are you doing at this moment in time? So, this is going to be. Would you be late afternoon now? Or let's say the battle. When did the battle happen?
The morning was.
I think with Tharaval and Ciravel were getting back early morning. Oh
yeah, you were early morning because it started early morning. Yeah, and yes, because you followed the guys at sunset.
Yeah.
And you got back early morning. So, yes. Okay. Yeah. So, what do you guys in Camberford want to do?
I want to find out if my spear can be repaired, because otherwise I'm going to be very upset.
Okay. You don't have anybody.
Do we have a list of who survived, by the way?
Yeah, it's on the Camberford roleplay chat. I think it's basically deaths, sort of notable deaths. Is the leader of the Dragonborn is dead. Annabella, who was one of the sort of kind of named Dirty Dozen, is dead. Pretty much half of the Dirty Dozen are gone. Half of the Dragonborn are gone. And probably, I think, pretty much half of the guards are also gone. So you've literally knocked them down 50%. Plus, you've lost Cadfile, the monk, the leader of the monks, and the Jonto and his thieves have sort of disappeared. They disappeared off pre-battle, basically. And that is about it. Obviously, you've got Sir Tristan. And you've got what other? You've got Daisy and her family. You've got Engineer Atkinson. You've got Cleveland, who's currently in Taunt buying materials after he had to give up some of his. You have I'm gonna get her name wrong. I do it every time.
Eldritch.
Eldred. Yeah, that's Eldrith. Yeah, Eldrith. I'll remember it one day. Eldrith as well, and you get Eldrith the Archer as well. So that's your sort of kind of the people you've kind of got around, name characters and stuff at this moment in time.
So I may need to take it with me to Taunt to see if I can get it repaired then.
Yeah, because I don't think there's going to be anybody. You could maybe do a botch job on it in the sort of in the Ford, but in general, you'd probably need to get it repaired in Taunt.
Can Thomas have a look? If I recall, it was snapped in half by Red Scale.
It was snapped in half, yeah.
Cool. Do we reckon that might help?
The spell repairs a single break or a tear in an object you touch, such as a broken chain link, 2 halves of a broken key, a torn cloak, or a leaking wineskin. I don't know, as long as the break or tear is no larger than 1 foot in
any dimension.
I know, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, all right. I'd say that, yeah.
Do it.
Cool. Thanks, Sean.
I will repair the staff.
Okay, there you go. Job done.
Thank you very much.
Staff repaired. Okay, so what are you doing? Anything? Obviously, you've got no real leaders currently in the Ford at this moment in time. Bar obviously, Sergeant Castor's still there. It's not as many sort of men in there, so there's a bit more space for everybody. But yeah, you've still all of your sort of worldly goods are still there as well. So your treasury and everything's effectively there as well still. So
I would probably propose that the Dragonborn move inside the walls, along with the others at nights, and they try and repair and their first point be to repair the stockade and so on that was at the northern border. In terms of leadership, obviously we still have a couple of people left that were senior, so I'm not sure if we're going to get anyone to volunteer very easily to step up, considering the level of head lopping off that happened recently. But obviously we still have the sergeant who's leading the troops, and we have a couple of senior people there.
Yeah, you need to think about what obviously the 30 does it. You got to figure out what you're going to do with Chaos Braid. You need to obviously 2 more. So of the 10 remaining Dragonborn, 2 are leaving to bring the Dragonborn leaders Uthrax to back to his homeland so he can be buried. 2 of the soldiers are going to join them. Well, it's up to you. You can send soldiers, or you can send
if we send 2 and 2 because we need to show respect as well. That was part of the point of setting this all up.
Yeah,
was building better relations. So yeah, plus if we're lucky, we might get some volunteers to come back afterwards in light of things and in light of Red Scale's actions. It's worth a try.
Yeah.
Guys, can I suggest that we leave Eldareth to take charge, as she has no affiliation with any of the groups, and she's an experienced and she's fairly experienced in a number of areas, and that we return and ask her to keep an eye on things for us and coordinate the rebuilding efforts, and obviously remember to hold when the thieves return to hang them upside down by their ankles and shake them vigorously.
Okay.
Do we have a leader of the Dragonborn? Has anyone stepped forward?
No, you've got what's the name of the female Dragonborn? What was her name? I can't get the thing up without. Can somebody just check?
Sorry, I thought that's what Dave was doing.
No, I'm making notes of what's just happened.
Okay. What was her? It begins with it was
L something, was it?
no. Eldrith is the archer. There
No.
was
Message. Current list. I don't think you put her name in the.
He did.
He did, just
It
not in
is.
this bit.
I might be in the other chat. I might be in the main chat possibly. It's not a massive. We can sort of.
That's cool. I went straight to the thing you put, so I was trying to
Yeah.
look it up in the pinned message. That was all.
Yeah, it might be.
Galdax.
What's it? Sorry.
That was it. Galdax.
Galdax. Yeah,
Galdax.
so-
Okay, yeah, Galdax. Okay.
Yeah. Since no one else seems to have put themselves forward, Draken will kind of approach her and say, "Congratulations, you are now the leader of the Dragonborn in the settlement."
Okay. She's been she's not being attacked, but she's obviously they don't have a lot of respect for her because she's not a fighter. She doesn't really want to.
Right.
She doesn't really want to fight and stuff like that. She wanted to sort of just help. So she's worried that if she's put in charge, they're not going to respect her. So I need you to persuade her that this is going to be the way. So roll me persuasion.
Then, would intimidate count?
You're not going to intimidate her. No, you don't want to. How are you going to intimidate her to be the leader?
You will do it on asking me. No, Draken's not going to do that. He's going to persuade her nicely.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to try to go at persuading her.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So she's unsure, but she sees
Because you do not want it.
she sees the
because you do
devastation and
want
stuff,
this.
and she says if you would sort of say something to them, just to say, I'm just here to organize and make sure things run smoothly.
Right here, right now, we do not need fighters. We need builders. That is you. And because you do not want this, you are the perfect person for this. Do you agree?
Yeah, she agrees. She agrees with you.
Okay. Dragonborn. Sorry, the Draken walks into the midst of the Dragonborn and says, "Brothers, sisters, I would have a word with you."
Okay, they all sort of kind of crowd around you, near the sort of kind of the stone sort of area where you made your speech before.
Yeah. I said, these are unprecedented times. Like before, we have been beaten down, but not like this, never before. We must come together. Human, Dragonborn, elf, dwarf, everyone together to build this. We need to work with others in order to survive. You know this, you understand, you see this. And therefore, we need builders, fighters in equal measure, builders and fighters working together. And therefore, I nominate Galdax to lead this group.
Okay, roll me a persuasion roll for them, please.
Okay. Given,
You can have advantage on it because they sort of respect you and such. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's a bit of murmuring and stuff like that, but they respect you, so they'll sort of go with what you said, and they sort of they nod their heads, and there's a sort of kind of sort of minor sort of cheer, nothing major, just sort of they'll do what you tell them to do, basically.
Okay. And Draken just generally kind of take Galdax aside and says, if you've got any questions, work with others. Don't hold back. If you've got any, find people to work on, delegate. Spread out. Work with the others.
She thanks you and says, "Well, if that's all, I will help with the repairs in the fort. We will need supplies and building materials to fix the fort." While she's saying that, Sergeant Castor, who's sort of hovering around, states, he sort of comes up and he salutes you and says, "If may I have a moment? Could I have a moment of your time, please?"
As you wish.
Obviously, the rest of you are here if you want to sort of interject or whatever and stuff. But he says, after the battle of Silkside, you gave money to those who lost their lives, to the families who lost their lives. Is there any way we can put some of the Camberford funds to the families of the dead?
That is reasonable. What do you say, the rest of you?
Yeah.
I have no objections.
Okay, cool. He bows his head and says, "I'll get you a list." So it's going to be the same the same amount as you gave away to in the last in the Battle of Silkside, to the sort of kind of basically pensions for the families for the dead soldiers.
Before Sergeant Casper goes, Draken asks him to liaise with Galdax in regards to supplies for building the fort.
He salutes and says, "As you wish."
Yeah, that's all needed. Yeah. Okay, That one problem solved.
Okay. Right. So, costs wise, let's see. This is gonna be cost wise. You've got a fair bit of gold and stuff flying around and stuff, so it's not going to be a massive dent in your piggy bank, as it were. Where did my pen go to? No, I'll just type it out somewhere. So, can somebody just check the how much you gave to soldiers for the deaths after Silkside? Yeah, somebody wants to do the thing. Where's my pen gone to? Pen in my hand.
We've lost Marky. He's just trying to reconnect.
Oh, okay, right. Where if you can check for me on the chat where how much we got. As for materials and such, I'm going to roll some dice to see how much it's going to cost you for repairs and such. So, I'm going to okay. It's going to cost you 538 gold for your repairs and stuff of the fort.
How much money do we actually have as a group?
It's in the bank. I think you've got.
Yeah.
You've got it in there. If you go into the Camberford chat, because I'm screening your picture, so I can't go into the thing to see it. I should have just copied it across, but there's a loot chat. Is there not loot chat? Is it in loot chat, or is it in Camberford? I'll just flick to it quickly while we're we're here. Just sort of. Is it unpinned? Let's see, pinned.
So loot. Oh, I've got loot from the mansion.
Right. So loot from Vampire. Alright. So yeah, this is what you got. So that's basically what you've got sort of stashed, and then you got your personal wealth as well, whatever you got on you. So that's pretty much what there is, and then you got your personal wealth as well.
Because Jack is still carrying a hefty amount of gold on him, to be fair.
Yeah, so you've got a party bank, which you can start. So there's a chat for party bank. Now, I would suggest that you start putting whatever you're keeping for as a group in that. So, obviously, so you're not carrying loads.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, Draken's carrying 7,500 gold and nearly 200 platinum.
Bloody hell.
Right. Okay.
Jesus.
We might need to bank some of that.
Money bags.
Yeah, well, you gotta, it's up to you. Sort of, if you want to leave it in the fort, or if you want to, sort of bring it to Taunt and stick it in a bank, it's up to you. You'll need sort of the stuff that you got in Camberford. You'll need sort of there's a wagon and stuff there that you can use to sort of kind of move things to Taunt if you want to stick it in the bank.
Okay. Probably stick it in the bank.
Right, so are you taking everything? Are you leaving any money with you? So you need to let me know what you're sticking in Camberford and what you're leaving in the bank and what you're keeping on your persons, basically.
I will do once I've worked out how much I am keeping, because I mean, there's also some stuff Jack needs to buy as well.
Yeah.
But I'll probably start there. Okay.
Well, this is it, because we were meant to sort of kind of do this as effectively a downtime session. So this is you doing things. So this is admin and things like that. So if you let me know how much you're keeping.
Problem. Will do. Okay. Anything else we need to do here?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if Val, obviously after they have subdued you, and you've sort of sobered up ever so slightly, it's up to you what you if you want to just leave it, or if you want to say anything to them, or say anything to Chaos Braid, or it's up to you.
Is Chaos Braid currently imprisoned?
He is currently under lock and key, and yeah.
I'm gonna keep him there for now. Who rules Ballon?
It's one of the. It's basically like a triarch. So it's like a triarch state. So it's effectively ruled by three triarchs. And they have like a council. That sort of convenes, and that's how they make their decisions. Each city, Taunt, Agover, and Suburn.
I have permission in Taunt to take prisoners, right?
Yes.
Like from the dungeon.
Yeah.
I'd probably have to get permission from the other two.
Yes.
Or would the word of one count?
Well, you could ask, you could ask for permission, or at least, get a letter of recommendation, probably from the Taunts, if you really needed sort of help from the others, and you did help sort of save the area, so that your reputation is going to be a bit better.
Could I send a courier to the other two triarchs then, please? If that's possible.
Yeah, you can do. Yep.
Right, I'm not gonna write out what's actually in these letters or what the couriers are saying, but just essentially asking for permission to take like fighting fit prisoners out of their dungeons and use them in defense of Ballon and Freya as a whole.
Right, prisoners. Okay.
And if we're going to Taunt afterwards, I'll be trying to collect some more. Some fresh recruits.
Right, okay. So, let me just get a Word document. Okay. So you are sending a courier. Sending letters to in cities for prisoners. Are you specifying quality or anything? Are you specifying? Are you literally just
Yeah,
anything?
Well, actually,
Because they're
no,
literally
yeah,
just
so
going to
fighting
send you the
fit,
dregs.
capable.
Is that
Yeah,
again?
no, I want capable people, and if it's like possible, and we do get permission to go, could we send like someone to like vet them before we
So-
take them, kind of thing, to inspect the recruits?
So do you want to send somebody with the courier, so the different couriers?
Yeah.
So who are you sending? The only sort of you got caster, I guess. Or you could just, I guess you could. There's Tristan as well. Sir Tristan, caster, who are military men.
Yeah, okay. Sir Tristan seems viable. I don't think he's doing anything important, is he?
Not really. No, at this moment. Sorry.
Okay. And who else? I don't want to send the sergeant because we do need leadership here. So I don't know. Could they do like a little tour? Just Sir Tristan and the courier go from each place to each place.
Yeah. Well, he's he says to you, he'll need, he says, he's obviously with all of these. He looks at you and he says, with all of these, this betrayal, I don't understand why you want more criminals in these walls, Sir Valashore.
We need to rebuild, and we need to give those who raised arms against our allies to those they tried to fight in order to enact their own justice upon them.
He sort of puts. He says, if you don't mind, if I could be so candid, but I can't remember. Sir Tristan. I just remember. Is Sir Tristan did I have him as like a northern chap, or is he sort of posh? I can't remember how I sort of kind of.
I think he was a bit sort of. He wasn't posh to start off with, like he because whenever he was doing the initial speech, he's more of a sort of piss taker. Like he was a bit, messing about and poking fun. Like he was, he was at a higher rank, but at the same time he didn't really sort of become a bit of a sort of more serious soul until after your man had died.
Okay. All right, we'll keep him as he is then. All right, so he's just like, that dwarf we have in chains, you do risk more of these malcontents coming into our ranks and causing more deaths and more trouble than they're worth.
But
similarly,
we still need the bodies to bolster our front lines, and also we don't need to arm them this time around. We can just use them as forced labor.
Okay.
let them prove themselves.
Yep.
Okay. And who is going to escort these criminals back to our walls?
Good point. Maybe ask the Treyarchs for a small attachment of guards to escort you back. We could link them by chains and walk them that way.
I will need documentation and letters of recommendation.
And you'll have them.
Okay. He nods his head and says, "I will do as you please," and he takes himself off. Okay. So send letters to main cities for prisoners. Sir Tristan is okay. Roll me a persuasion roll.
Okay.
Because this is basically what your letter's going to say and stuff, so how good your letter's going to be.
Rolls be with me now. Oh,
I'll give you advantage. I'll
advantage.
give you advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Able.
Just so good at writing. That's what it is.
Yeah. Bodied. Okay. All right. So you've sent some letters with a courier and Sir Tristan's basically to sort of go to the cities and try and get some more men for the fort.
Is he going to ring a bell and shout, "Bring out your dickheads"?
Bring out your dickheads. Okay. Money wise, so I need you to decide: are you leaving? What are you leaving in the fort? What are you bringing to Taunt? Obviously, if you look in the Camberford, not the Camberford, in the loot thing, there's got all that money you got from the mansion. Then there's what you've got in your person as well. So I need you to sort of decide what you're leaving to sort of tie the fort over. For like wages and supplies and things like that, and what you are bringing with you to Taunt.
Okay, so
Because obviously you can put stuff in the bank in Taunt, which is probably going to be a bit safer than having in your sort of what is your
we do need to leave something in the treasury to pay people.
yeah. So you
As
do
you
need
said.
to leave some with you.
What's the balance in the treasury at the moment? Sorry, I skipped out, so I missed some of this.
So if you check the loot chat, that's what you got from the mansions. Basically, all you got from the mansion. That's and then then you got your personal wealth, whatever's on your person.
Okay, so we've got 20 of options from what's in the mansion plus what we've got ourselves. So if we need, so we need the equivalent of 1600 GP, really, don't we? Overall, from what I can tell from.
And you have to
Location.
you've got to pay 538 gold for some repairs to the initial
I thought the
repairs.
1600 included that.
Yeah, I've been putting figures into a WhatsApp map.
Okay, cool. Right, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so the 1600 includes our liability for the repairs.
Yeah.
So we've got we can cover that out of the stuff from the mansion easily.
The repairs you're using 1600. Is that including pensions?
Yeah.
Pension costs. So repairs and pensions. Repairs and pensions. 1600. Okay, and that's coming out of your group loot then.
Yeah, because it's a group obligation because it's Camberford.
Okay, group loot.
And then how much should we leave here for wages and incidentals, do you think, guys?
Do we have the wage bill written down somewhere?
I suppose it's shrunk quite a lot.
It's in the pin. It's in the pin side. It's only the soldiers. It's only the soldiers that need paid, basically. Though you'd need to
we want to leave a kitty for things. Don't we? So if traders come past and there's useful stuff in there, we want to make sure that we can, the guys can pick stuff up, they can trade with the local towns, and they can also encourage the traders to come back.
Yeah.
Because then we can become part of trading routes, which is going to help there as well. So, what do you think, guys? If we leave, say, a mixture of, I don't know, say 3,000, and take the rest of the bank.
3,000 gold being left in Camberford.
Or the equivalent of 3,000 with a mix of CP, SP, and GP. Any objections, guys?
Is that including the 1600?
None whatsoever.
Anyway?
That's separate to the 1600.
Right, okay.
Left.
So that's the kitty that will cover wages and incidentals.
Yeah.
I need to talk to Aldereth and explain to her that she's getting a promotion.
Eldereth what's her job? What's she doing?
I'm going to ask her to act in our stead to help coordinate the repairs and knock heads together as appropriate.
And what about Galdrax? What's her sort of role then with Eldereth? Is she? Because obviously
she'll be working with her, but she'll be. How should we put this? She's someone that is independent and can make calls. In the same way as before with the council, we had the balance with the monks and so on. It's having someone who as necessary, can knock people's heads together, and is respected based on the fact she's not invested in any of the existing groups.
Okay.
She has the martial experience that the soldiers will respect and the Dragonborn will, so she can also back up Galdareth as well as necessary, or Galbraith, whatever, and she can also keep an eye on Galandra until she's ready to get up and about.
Yep.
Or tell Galandra to sit that fucking hell down and heal, because Galandra.
Because hashtag Galandra. Yep.
Yes. And we just are. I think she's the best person to trust with this at the moment because she has that advantage of the independence. So she hasn't got any interest in any of the existing groups, and when she tells the thieves when they come back to sit down and wait while she goes through their packs, they're unlikely to argue with her.
Okay, so Eldrith and Galdrax are in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
also, it's not another bloke telling Gabrax what to do.
Yeah,
it's a woman that can help her to show her an example.
Yep.
And help her to sort of step up.
Okay. Right. Okay. Are you? Okay.
Can I make another suggestion?
Yeah.
I don't know what the discussion was. If we weren't going to, we need to drag Cowspray back to back with the Satant and chuck him in a deep hole.
No, he's not going to taunt.
Okay. Well, that's it. I missed the discussion, so that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. That's what I'm gonna say. Right, I'm just gonna plot while I'll be right back.
Okay.
Right.
I won't say we want him back in one piece because I know full well there's an awful lot of flexibility in that kind of a statement.
Okay. So, is there anything else you want to do, say, while you're Camber forward before you sort of kind of make your way back to Taunt?
Yeah, Thomas would like to just go and check inside the wizard tower, make sure that it's still all intact inside, and see if there's anything that Gibbons left behind that might be useful.
Okay. You go to the tower where Gibbons sort of had his workshop effectively. There are different potions and books and his sort of kind of personal belongings. Roll me an investigation. You don't really find anything of any note or anything that's not sort of popping out to you at this moment in time. There's nothing there that sort of shows that he, why he's turned or anything. You just assume that it's because he's like you. He craves this sort of like knowledge and power, and he's just been overwhelmed by it and taken it, basically.
Yeah, from my understanding, he put quite a bit of research into that crystal anyway as to what it does and how it works. So if anyone was going to fall to it, it was likely to be him anyway.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
So about these potions that he's left, is there? Can I have a look through those and see if there's anything that might be useful to us while we're out?
Yeah.
And about?
He has got let me just
generate some loot.
Generate some potions for you.
Actually,
he's got some. He's got some Athusis oil, there. So that's stuff that is potentially sort of is useful.
Is it the refined stuff, or is it just in its raw form?
It's currently in its raw form.
Okay.
It can be refined.
Yeah.
You've got some oil of sharpness. Actually, no, you don't, because that's very rare. I'm not going to give you anything too sort of overly. You've got a fileter of love. Potion of clairvoyance. You've got potion of strength, and it is going to be, what sort of one is it going to be? Very okay. It's a potion of cloud giant strength, so that's a very rare one. Potions of healing. There are 3 potions of healing, and they are of what type? Actually, that should be in the D4 there. Sorry about that. And they're just minor healing potions. So common healing potions. So there's 3 of those.
What's that 1d4?
The D4 is the type. I was just looking at what type it is. So they're just healing.
So how much damage do they heal?
2 D4 plus 2.
2d4. Oh, 2d4 plus 2.
Yep.
Okay.
The cloud giant is a strength of 27. When you drink this potion, your strength score changes for 1 hour, so it can go up to 27, basically.
I have a feeling at some point Draken's going to hit someone who's hacked so hard that their grandparents are going to have a bad headache.
And that's pretty much all you've got.
Okay. I will grab up the clairvoyant, strength, and healing potions. I'll leave the rest for now.
Okay, cool.
In the loot chat, there's a cloak of protection. Did someone claim that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, just checking.
Yep. Okay. So you are all sort of now making your way with the rest of your worldly belongings to Taunt.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So you make your way to Taunt, towards back to the hotel, and as you're sort of kind of coming to the main sort of kind of courtyard of where the hotel is, you notice Tharaval and Saravel sort of kind of sitting outside having a few drinks on the sort of kind of veranda, basically.
Elves, in fact. You seem
Meeting
to be,
friends.
you seem to be in good spirits.
Well, we have right to be. It has been an eventful few days since we have last seen you. We have much to catch up on. Please join us.
We definitely have much to catch up on, my friend.
Okay, so I'll not fire in sort of Lady Taunt and stuff yet. So you sort of chat it out. I'm not sure if you want the RP, what's happened, if you want to talk to each other about what's happened, or you just want to sort of kind of.
Should we just blur that one for the time?
Yeah. So you tell Tharaval and Servel of the attack on Camber Ford. You tell him that the Jonto and his mates have sort of disappeared off beforehand. And Tharaval and Servel tell you that they have basically got themselves a large merchant vessel from the cultists, and that the ruins of Kibarath are pretty much where this threat is coming from, or that's what they suspect the main threat is, and that's where Saravel's wife is allegedly being held, and he's very keen on going back to save her, basically.
So, locally speaking, the threat can be dealt with by heading to there, or will there be value in spending a little time just to mop up, or do you think you've taken care of the majority of the problem for the time being?
it is hard to tell. This enemy hides in the shadows and stays to themselves. I could speak with Arnold Greybeard to see if he's had any word of any further wrongdoings in Taunt. Also, he may be able to get some information as to the whereabouts of Jonto and his folk. I fear they may have returned to Taunt.
Well, in that case, we need to have a chat with him anyway. But I suspect before we go off anywhere, and before we suggest to the lady that we're going to go off on a jaunt, we should probably make sure that we're not going to leave her prey to the problems that we're seeking to fix. If that makes sense. What do you think, everyone?
Yeah, that seems ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is Wes back? He's still off. So obviously with the hotel, the guests are still there. Lady Taunt sort of hears sort of what's, the talk, and she sort of kind of makes her way out and says, where the bloody hell have you been? I've had to talk. I've had to persuade these bloody assholes to stay here, and they're not good. They're not good dinner guests.
Good dinner guests, even.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we would have been quicker, but we had a few little issues, and we ran into a gentleman by the name of Red Scale. He was not much of a conversationalist, and he kind of butchered half our people. So we had to do a little bit of clearing up.
Obviously slightly concerned that there's been another attack in her land, basically, in an area where they've sort of gifted you and stuff. She asks, what happened. You tell her pretty much. Are you going to tell her about? Are you going to tell her the full story? Or are you going to sort of?
If we abridge it, but we make sure that she understands that the problem was partially magical in nature and originated with Galandra's possession, but we saved her. Hopefully, that will distract her a little tiny bit from the matter at hand. And
yeah, she seems very sort of relieved that Galandra is safe and that you saved her life.
Yeah, so it's always good to earn the brownie points, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, the core of the problem was mostly taken care of. Yes, the enemy gained something they wanted, but I believe that the main purpose of it was to try and drag us off course, if that makes sense, to distract us from what we're doing here. And that therefore it shows the value in what she's trying to achieve if they're willing to invest those sorts of resources to try and draw us off course.
She says, she sort of she listens to what you're saying, and she tells you that her father is leaving Taunt with the rest of the army to head south to the war. She insisted she would go in his stead, but he's told her no, that she needs to look after the city, and if anything should happen, she needs to sort of take over.
Pick up.
Yeah, basically. She's worried because there is what was a skeleton presence within Balon is getting worse, but her father has insisted that the war is bigger than Balon's sort of individual security, and the defeating of that is will bring safety to their land. The other Triarchs have sort of provided some forces, but have not as far as she's aware, haven't sort of kind of committed fully to leaving Balon yet. But she still needs to persuade the other delegates to provide sort of men for the war itself. But she needs support for Balon's safety itself.
Okay, so from where I'm standing, one of our problems at the moment is going to be defusing the cultist threat, because that's an internal threat that we can't fight with conventional troops easily. If they're basing out of the ruins at Silkside, I think at the moment it's better that we try and nip it in the bud there and work backwards and destroy their support, which should...
Not Silkside, they're in Kibarath, the ruins of Kibarath.
Right.
On the
If we go
island,
to, so it seems likely that we'd be better off at the moment if we do a sweep tonight and see if we can locate any problems that we can deal with first. If we then head to Kibarath and we try and nip this in the bud at its source and destroy the cult, then that reduces some of the distractions that the enemy is trying to use to destroy her efforts, and proves to the others that she can be relied on to take care of problems, and they want to support her because she'll be showing proof of strength.
She says, before Silkside, that her sort of kind of expeditionary force that had sort of been sent down that direction to deal with the situation had come up against no major threat, but she did know that Kibarath was an old fortified island, and it's not something that you're just going to be able to, if it has been occupied now, it is defensible, and it's going to be, if they infest it too much, it's going to have to be assaulted.
But we can find out at the very least, and we're not part of her conventional forces, which means that we, because we're a regular, we can impact her conventional defenses less by going out to check. If we can't fix the problem, we can come back, or we can leave the Stone Ascending with her and signal back the problem, which will allow her to then look at allocating other strength.
Yeah.
But we want her to keep her strength close to hand for the time being, because she needs to appear strong when she's asking for this assistance, because if she shows too much weakness, they will not want to support her because they will feel that they need to be strong instead.
Lots of clouds with kisses being shown by your missus there, Wes, on the chat.
Support. The
Support.
love of the people.
The love of the people. Happy New Year, Els. Hope you had a good one. Right. Okay. So, what's the plan then? What are you doing? Are you releasing the delegates? Are you what are your plans?
Have they had their conference yet? Have they?
They've had their conference. There is basically she would like somebody to sort of help her. She's basically told them what the score is. It's about persuading them, about sending men to the war, basically. But you've got three main issues here. You've got the war, and providing men, getting sort of people on board to sort of kind of deal with that situation. You've got insurgency within, potentially within Taunt itself, who are assassinating these delegates, and then you've got the potential of an insurgency base within the ruins of Kibarath, which could be used as a sort of springboard. Yeah, you've also got the fact that you've got Gibbons and Red Scale flying around the place somewhere.
Yeah, I seem to recall a few sessions ago we came across a ship captain who'd been raided by pirates in the waters to the south of Ballon, and it was suggested at the time that whoever was responsible could have been hiding in the ruins of Kibarath. So I think that's definitely moving up the agenda as somewhere that we should at least investigate, if not full on assault.
So our most diplomatic person is currently laid up at the fort, which doesn't help.
Yes, but our most sneaky people are sat right with us, who would be able to infiltrate the island and
I know.
find out what's
I'm
going
just
on.
pointing out that for one of the
I can do diplomacy. I'm very diplomatic. When I speak to people,
Ceravel's
they
actually
do
quite
what I say.
persuasive.
Well, that could be useful if you get caught. I would say Draken's more diplomatic, but
Okay, so I basically need your plans for you've got, for as long as you want to stay in Taunt, so we can do it sort of kind of prolonged sort of period of time if you want to do sort of a bit more time. Obviously, you need to decide what your priorities are, what you need to do, where you're putting your money and stuff, and anything else. Obviously, as time goes on, things will happen. So it's up to you to sort of kind of prioritize things and stuff. Obviously, if you leave Kibarath too long, its defenses will get better. If you leave the insurgency too long, then that's going to cause problems within the city. Obviously, if you leave, if you don't sort of kind of try and hunt down Red Scale and Gibbon, or at least find out what the score is with them, there's these sort of things that are going to happen.
as if they're not hiding out in Kibarath in the first place.
Yeah.
So you've got these sort of things you need to sort of think about.
Well, I think our two main priorities now are investigate Kibarath and deal with the threat to the diplomats in Taunt.
How many sending stones do we have?
We have two.
Okay, so could we
I
send
also
Farival to
don't think-
Kibarath to gather intelligence?
I
and
don't think
then
we
report
should
back
split
to us?
up.
Well, he's already proven himself, and like him and his brother have already proven themselves.
Yeah,
To
I
be.
think
Yes,
I'm
but
not
there's only a
thinking
certain amount of luck
for
that
Matt's
we all
sanity,
can
to be
have.
fair.
I don't mind you splitting up and stuff. It's just, it's going to be, it will be, if certain things happen, I will have to just focus on one group of people at a time. So there will be times
Yeah.
when you won't be doing much and stuff. So, I try and go back and forth as much as I can, but,
I mean,
I think just keeping the group together makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
I don't mind just breaking into groups and stuff.
Well,
It's just like, got to also bear in mind that, they've got there, but they've fluked their way back with a ship. You're going to have, you could send a ship there, but then, would it get attacked? How are they going to, things like that, things you got to think about this. They're not just going to let you rock up to the island itself, unmolested.
Yeah. We could do it at night. I mean,
well,
if we have an experienced sailor, he can sail us around at night, and we can land potentially unmolested.
I think from Tharval and Ceravel's point of view, their next thing on the agenda is going to Kibarath. Tharval's promised that he would help Ceravel find his wife, so that's where they're going.
Part of my promise to
Sooner the better, but at the same time, they're both aware that it's not a matter of just sailing up and sort of jumping off the boat. So, it may be worth looking into actually adding defenses onto the boat and hiring a crew to defend it, because of all the piracy that has happened, and the fact that we've been dealing with folk of the water.
I think the whilst Kibarath is important, I think the priority has to be sorting out and protecting and neutralizing the threat to the diplomats, because the longer we leave them holed up in the hotel on a promise that we're going to fix it, the more chance there is of them getting all in a bit of a huff and storming out, going their own separate ways, and getting themselves killed on the road without our ability to protect.
Well, we've
But
got
then at
ship
the same
that we
time,
can transport
they're
as well.
they're probably more in danger grouped together in one place as
Yep.
they are at the minute.
So I'm kind of thinking that we could maybe set a trap. Which
I like traps.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't mind that ambush.
Yeah, which we can then lie in wait, particularly as we've got a few sneaky people. We've got a few less sneaky and more obvious people who, let's face it, if you've got 100 delegates and 3 people guarding them, you're more likely to think, well, this will be easy, we'll take out those 3 and off we go, and then all of a sudden there's the sneaky ones that's come in and sort of pinch some movement from behind, as it were. I think
roll
the
me.
quicker we can sort that out, then once they're safe and they've gone their separate ways under the protection banners that they normally carry, then we can go and look at Gibberath.
Okay, roll me perception.
Everyone.
All of us.
Yeah, roll me perception.
Wow.
Tharaval,
Whoa.
obviously Valashil's still slightly drunk. Give me your keys, you're drunk.
Butterfly. Do you want to roll one for Mark while he's disconnected?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter now. I think as Draken and Tharaval, you notice a shifty looking figure sort of walking past, sort of like, with his hood up and trying to sort of blend in.
Tharaval sort of nods to Draken and he nods to Ceravel, sort of pointing his head to the person passing by.
Draken just grabs him.
You just grab him.
Little.
Yeah.
Okay, roll me dexterity. And then
Okay.
strength afterwards. Okay. Literally,
Nice.
as he's Draken sort of kind of he's not even paying attention. He's sort of like Tharaval basically sort of nods his head in the direction, and Draken just sort of kind of grabs, just sort of outstretches his arm and sort of grabs this sort of kind of figure. This sort of kind of like, oh, all right, big man, just. Whoa! I thought we were all friends here. What's going on? I was just passing. Jesus Christ!
Draken just puts him in a chair, puts the drink in front of him. Fevered have words with you.
Oh,
And then
I don't
the-
know. All right, yeah, I could do with a few bevy or not there. Yes. So, how you boys been doing?
This is about you. Let's talk about you. It's been a long time. Let's just talk about you and what have you been up to?
Oh, nothing there, mate. I've
What are
been
you doing back in Taunt?
Oh, it's me and the boys were it was getting a bit boring in that air fort, and you did say get us some work and stuff there. There wasn't much going on, just some sort of angry looking lizards and some pretty nasty looking chaps. You tried to intimidate him. He kind of looks back. He says, "Oh, no offense there, big man. Sorry. I'm just not used to sort of dragonborn, whatever. Just don't worry. Just tying up some loose ends."
What loose ends are these?
Oh, he sort of. He makes up some lame, so he makes up some lame sort of kind of story about what he's doing in the area and stuff. Roll
Draken just
me
leans-
insight.
All of us.
He's lying. You can tell he's lying.
Okay.
Um,
Draken just leans forward with an axe out.
Bullshitter.
he says, so what are you asking him? What are you saying to him?
Draken just leans forward and I suggest you answer the question properly.
He's like, all right. You caught me red-handed. You know, a tiger can't change his fucking spots or stripes or whatever. You know, just you know, I'm a thief. We're all thieves. We got to do a bit of this and that. Don't worry, we're not up to too much good. We're just sort of dealing with one of my mates who used to be around here. Just taking over his business, if you will.
What would be the name of this mate of yours?
Oh, you won't know him. He's a fella called Greybeard, and well, we found out that this mucker here was dealing in child trafficking, and you know what? You know me. You know I'm not going to deal with that. So we dealt with him. So you know, all for the greater good.
I appreciate your work ethic, but we've already dealt with this child trade, and you've done me an outage as his business was my business.
Oh, it's not his business anymore. It's my business.
But then your business is my business.
Well, he sort of kind of looks at you. So, well, what do you mean?
Like his 50% of his business is mine.
Oh,
so 50%
we're
your business is mine.
All right, so we're partners then. All right. No, that's all right. That's fine. Less work for me and the boys to do. But we're not doing any of that child malarkey there. None of that stuff. You know, I've got a bit of a moral compass.
I would expect nothing less, and I'm glad to hear it. But if you do hear of any workings of this, you will report any information to us straight away.
Oh, of course, big man. Don't you worry.
You're not being let off the leash here. If you do step out of line at any point, the authorities of Taunt will be let known.
Roll intimidation.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, you know, you don't have to threaten me. You know, I'm a changed man. Don't you worry.
You just said that a tiger doesn't change his stripes.
Oh, I say a lot of things. You know, you can't listen to me.
Very well, Jonto. We'll leave you be, but as I said, I'll be back for my half on a weekly basis.
All right,
At
so you know, I honestly, you know, because there's new management and everything, I think we should have a bit of a discussion about, you know, how much money is going here and there. Now, if I'm here and I'm doing all the work, then, you know, I think 50-50 is a bit steep. And as it was Greybeard you were making an agreement with, and I'm not Greybeard, I think we should come to a new agreement.
What is your accord?
And he says, well, you know, as I'm going to be doing all the work, there's 70% in my favor.
No. You say that you'll be doing all the work, but you have to prove yourself. For the time being, I would say 50-50. We will be doing work here and abroad, and you will have your cut of that. In fact, if you actually help us, you can have a cut of what we find from other locations.
Okay, so
For the likes of manning a ship.
He says, oh, my lads know nothing about ships. You know, we're all about shadows and sneaking around and stealing stuff. Whereas not about this, you know, they're all flat-footed. There's no way they're getting on a ship. I'm interested in your proposal though. So you're saying is, you know, what I make from this area, you get 50% of, what you make in your travels, I get 50% of.
Do I want to do that? I was saying if you take part in what you Let me think. Hold on. My suggestion was that if we were to so call upon you for aid, you would get 50% of what we can find.
So are they going to get 50% of everything, or 50% of your share, or how's it working?
Let's think.
Think very carefully.
Barrett, right? So basically, there's the way it's going to be is like Taunt isn't going to be sort of. I'll say Ceravel saying this to there's not a lot. There's there'll be business within Taunt for these guys. If you could potentially send them off other places, and it could the money coming from that you would get 50% of. But depending on what your sort of deal is with them, on what they're doing, would be depending on what they want share wise and stuff. So what you're offering. So,
well, from what I hear, the main trade of Greybeard was trading children, which we have dwindled for the time being. I'd say that there's probably not a lot of money in what it is that you're looking to do around here. So we were hoping to use your sneaking expertise. You said you were looking for a bit of excitement. I can think of something for you. If you're to help us at Kibarath, what would you be looking? What percentage would you be looking then?
Well, we're 50-50 partners. 50-50 of 50-50 of what you find's good enough for me and the boys.
50-50 of what I find.
50-50 of what of the loot on in that area. If you want us to come with you to that island, then I would say we Oh, and we're business partners, big man. Me and you are business partners. All I need is that, I'm accept 50-50 of what you find on that island, aye.
How about a salary and 15%? So even on the days you're not working, you're still getting paid.
Roll me persuasion.
Bad.
He says, I think the 50-50 sounds a bit better to me, to be fair. I'm not a wage sort of guy. I'm a sort of, get a big bunch of cash and spend it sort of guy.
There could be big payouts when we get there.
Yeah, but 15%.
You have to put the time in. You're not going to get big cash around here. And as well as that, you have the risk of local authority. Whereas whenever you're on the island, you'll have free reign.
Okay. He says, all right. 40% on a salary.
What else can we think of?
We don't kill him.
20%. We don't kill you where you are.
20%. We don't kill you where you are, or just report you to the authorities.
Oh, that you're a roll me intimidation.
Delegated to Draken.
Well, yeah.
Draken stands behind you, smiles.
Okay. with advantage, is it?
Yeah. Oh, throwing I thought you were one of us there, big man. Throwing the authorities in. Yeah, your ma's your dad. What the hell's that going on? What? How much did you say? Did you say 30%?
20.
20. 35% and a wage, and that's my last offer.
Let me think. What else can we use them for?
Matt said we could set them up in different cities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could we not effectively create our own branch of intelligence, information gathering in all the other cities?
So you could offer them something else, if you don't have to they don't have to go to Kiberath, they don't have to stay here. You could say, look, we've got, why don't you do this? But I suppose he would argue that you don't know other cities, and they would be treading on other sort of guilds, sort of land and stuff. So,
How about if we offer him a bounty on cultists while we're away? Him and his headies and such like.
Okay, bounty on the cultists.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like
So
that.
we could offer him a bounty on those daggers they're fond of, for example.
Yep.
With evidence. Just go.
Yeah.
We need evidence in doing cultists, not just hearsay.
Like their heads, for example.
Yeah, well, hold on. Instead of doing them a bounty, why don't we say that if we send them to Kiberath as on an intelligence sort of mission, like a recon mission, to sort of find out information as to what is there, while we are dealing with the other sort of things locally.
See, the thing is, this is their home turf.
Yeah.
So
Well, then we could do that, and we could get them to do what it is that.
That's the bounty
locally.
on the cultists. That's what I was talking about, bounty on cultists.
Okay.
Or we flip it round and we use them to watch the diplomats while we investigate Kiberath. Because I don't.
To be
trust-
fair,
I don't trust
Yeah,
sending
they're
them
likely
by
to know
themselves.
the shadowy moving areas where people
Yeah.
can go unseen.
We could do a bit of both, couldn't we? We could
Yeah.
tell them that we'll give them, we'll offer them an agreed rate for every day there's no deaths from the delegates. And dock their eventual payout for every death. So a small consideration, but we also offer them a bounty on cultists that have accidents with evidence.
we'll do about a 65. They have 65%. They remain in taunt. They investigate and track down the local cultists who are trying to who are trying to kill the diplomats and provide information.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. We've got bounty, but we also offer them a couple of incentives, both a positive incentive and a negative incentive, to keep the diplomats alive.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your what's your deal? What's your deal with them?
Basically, they get 65%
of
what they get from the cultists and anything.
Oh no! This point here is we don't want to be paying them as much as we can avoid it. So we tell them that we'll pay them a very small stipend per day to keep an eye on things, but we will also dock from that and from anything that we pay bounty-wise on the cultists that they kill, because they've got heavies as well as watchers. So if the cultists are busy watching over their shoulder, and the crooks know it's going to cost them money if anything happens to people, then I'm pretty sure we're going to get an awfully nice collection of those daggers that the cultists are fond of, and they won't want to. They'll be less likely to use the diplomats as bait. Was my thought.
We should also, as fair state, we have first dibs on all loot acquired.
Right. Let me get this straight. So you're offering them a bounty for every cultist killed. You're offering them a wage, a daily wage, or a weekly wage, or whatever.
To keep an eye on the diplomats.
To keep.
But every and every diplomat is a. Should we call it a 5% dock from whatever they're being paid?
So what? Obviously, the diplomats will not want to stay in the city for a long period of time.
Well, no, but the ones that stay, while they're there, if one of them has an accident that's under the care of the thieves, we'll take money from what we were going to pay them. Does that make sense?
And you're saying out of the they've got a bounty. They'll get a bounty. You're saying they can have 65% of what they find on the body.
But we get first dibs on important items, on magical items and stuff like that.
Obviously, you'll have to trust them on that.
And as well, providing information of the movements of the cult itself.
Yeah. So intelligence will have its own. Will give consideration for as well, money wise.
The bounty, intel. Wait, right, okay. So, how much are you offering them per head?
What do you reckon, guys? 10 GP per head?
10 gold ahead, sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, 10 ahead.
Okay, roll me persuasion.
Is that me that's rolling persuasion?
Whoever's negotiating with Jumbo.
Tharavel, I think.
God. Persuasion, is it?
Yeah.
With advantage for the smiling dragon behind him.
Okay, yeah, he's happy with 10 GP per head. Okay.
8% levy on the total that he's owed for every diplomat that dies in the hotel. Or dies within taunt while he's keeping an eye on them.
Minus 8% per diplomat killed. Okay. Intel, how much are you offering them for intel?
I think that can only be valued once we've got the intel.
Yeah.
On an ad hoc basis.
The value, yeah. We'll discuss the value of the intel with him based on when we get it and what it actually says.
Roll me persuasion on that as well, because he's with no advantage on this because he's not happy with sort of just letting you come up with a figure after he's given you the intel.
Well, we'll negotiate a figure with him.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, based on how dangerous it was to get the intel.
Okay.
And whether we've already found that
How
out.
useful it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Intel. Okay, so ad hoc.
It's always good to add incentive to these things.
For gold. Okay, and wage to keep their eye on things. How much are they getting paid wage-wise?
Shall we? What do you reckon, guys?
Per member. So there's 20 of them, isn't there?
Yeah. So do you reckon GP per day each?
Yeah, I
Day
was
or a
going to say GP.
So 20.
GP a week? Like,
Yeah.
How much is a GP equivalent? Like, how much is it worth to them in this world?
A GP's a fair bit. A GP a week, for
Yeah, GP a week per person.
If you were to put it into like sterling,
so that's basically it's going to be 20 gold a week.
How many?
It's a lot, to be honest.
That's a lot, yeah.
One gold piece.
It's a lot.
half a
Bear
GP.
in mind, because you guys are so plush with money, gold's just like pennies to you. But your average Joe,
It's quite significant.
yeah, copper, silver is pretty good.
50 silver, 50 silver a head.
30 silver a head per week.
30 silver per head per week. What are you paying the soldiers, by the way?
We are paying the soldiers.
It's going to be a lot, isn't it? Overpaying them because of all the danger pay. Sorry if you can hear the kettle boiling.
I don't have that to hand, I'm afraid. I'll have to dig that out.
I think it's if you go to the Camber Ford and the pinned, it tells you how much they're getting paid, I think.
Camber Ford pinned. Current.
Just tells us how many there are. It doesn't say what we're paying them.
No, I'm sure. Maybe it's in the. Oh, maybe is it in the? I'm sure it was in there. How much they were getting paid? Let me just.
I think it is, just maybe not in the pinned message.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they were on like a gold a week, to be honest, or something along those lines. Possibly, I think they were a gold per person per week.
That sounds about right to me.
Yeah.
Allocated wages for soldiers for 1 month while travelling.
Yeah,
2 GP times 3 equals 60 GP.
and I think we were trying to make it enticing to keep them happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you're offering them like a third of what the soldiers are getting, basically.
But the 10 GP per head is rather a nice leveler there. We just want it to be enough to keep them focused.
All right.
And
Roll me.
they have a lot more freedom than soldiers. So
Okay. Roll me persuasion then.
Persuasion.
He's like, so it's a really kind offer and all, but those soldiers back in the fort are getting a gold. They're getting a gold a day, and they're just standing around and not doing very much. We're going to be getting, we're going to be all.
yeah, but at the first sign of fighting, where were you?
Here, we didn't realize that shit was going to happen. We were off trying to do our job.
But how many of them get paid 10 GP per kill? And you're on your home turf. And as we've said, if these guys have an accident and you just happen to keep a memento when you find them, that's worth 10 gold pieces, each of them.
All right, you roll me another persuasion. He's like,
I was literally about to say, yeah, that's one here.
He's just like, nah. I think we're worth a gold piece a week as well. Thanks very much.
70 silver each.
No. If you want our services, it seems that you need our services. It's 1 gold plus what you've said, or it's nothing.
Okay, so
Use inspiration to re-roll.
You can use your inspiration to re-roll it if you want, yeah.
Yeah, fuck it, might as well.
Well, it's better.
Not a lot.
And it's also advantage because we're all persuading him together.
We're all on the same team.
Yeah, all right, okay. Yeah, all right. He'll take the 30 gold. 30 gold or 30 silver even. 30 silver per day. So that is, how much is that going to be? 30
600 silver per day.
Per day.
Or 600 silver per week, wasn't it?
Yeah, per week.
So how much per week? 600 per week?
Yeah.
600.
Note, to be a GM, you need to be an accountant.
Yeah, okay, so you're giving them a 10 gold piece bounty for each head, but you're giving them an 8%
penalty for every death.
Yeah, each kill. Intel ad hoc basis, depending on how good it is. And then obviously they're getting a wage of 600 silver pieces a week. Is there anything else you're adding on to this, or is that sort of pretty much how you're keeping it?
Hold on a second. Am I getting confused here? So we're 600 600 silver a week.
Yep.
So the 600 silver equivalent to 60 gold.
Yeah.
Whereas if we were paying them a gold each a week, that would only be 20.
Yep.
Yeah, so have you got that actually? Yeah. Should be.
Okay,
That's what I don't understand.
So it's 30 silver. There's 20 of them. There's 20 of them with 30 silver pieces.
How much is 30 silver in gold?
So hold on,
That's 6 gold.
is 10 silver?
1 gold.
10 silver is 1 gold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So it
that's
was higher conversion than that.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was 100 silver for 1 gold.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
10 for 1 gold.
Is it?
So we were actually talking. We're talking 3 silver.
Yes. Because I'm assuming that's what Matt was working out as well.
Yeah.
so. What are you giving them? What are you
3
giving?
silver each.
So it's just to divide that by 10.
So 60 silver per week.
Yeah.
So they're getting 60 silver per week. Between them, or each.
Yeah. So that's between them. So that's 6 gold.
They're getting
week.
6 gold a week for all of them.
That's decent money, really.
Plus the 10 GP per kill.
Yeah.
And that's the point. The meat of it needs to be in the per kill.
And plus the extra, any extra for information as well.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so 6
So
gold
the
per week.
information will pay handsomely if it is of
Useful.
worth.
All right. Okay. So we need you to keep a hold of. So you're gonna? I guess Thomas, you're gonna be the accountant for your lot because you're gonna have to kick into account your expenditures. Then, so you're gonna have what these thieves are now costing you, what they get. Obviously, that they're just killing guys. They're not providing you an income. They're just there's no split now. It's literally they'll. Are you splitting?
No, that's fine.
You're not splitting with it. They're literally just giving you bounties and stuff. There's no sort of there's no split in sort of spoils and things.
Yeah, but they'll bring us all of the items that they find for us to have first dibs on as well.
Well, yeah, obviously they're thieves,
So
so
they admit to.
they admit to.
Obviously, some of those items they come to us with intelligence will be some of those things, won't they?
Yeah. So okay, so you got to keep that. You got to bear in mind the running cost of Camber Ford, and then we'll sort of out how much it's sort of kind of making you as well, sort of through trade and stuff like that too. So keep that sort of in your somewhere. Right. Okay. So he sort of says, "Nice doing business with you, lads. I must be on my way. I've got some important business to be taken care of, so I'll catch you all later."
Can I make a recommendation, boy? Make sure that you wash your hands after business. People get nervous when you have things on your hands.
He's like, he laughs, downs his mead, and puts his hood up and walks off.
Well, we don't need to stick around to keep an eye on the diplomats now because the cultists are going to start learning just how much fun it is to be hunted.
Okay. So, Lady Taunt says, so what, she actually pretty much asks you, so am I to release these diplomats then? Are they safe?
I would say if we keep them for a night to give the thieves a chance to start tagging their bounties, and then in the morning we can start to release them. And since we've said that any deaths that occur within the city are going to be taking money off of the bounties, I think we can guarantee that people are going to be a lot more nervous about what happens to them after tonight than they are about what happens to diplomats.
Okay.
Wait for the threat to take hold.
Yes.
And then
We
to be
need-
distracted, yeah.
We need some mysterious and messy disappearances to take their minds off of things.
Okay. Right. All right. So she agrees. What is your sort of what are you looking to do next then? What sort of like
I think we need to go to the bank, don't we?
We do need to go to the bank. Thomas would like to have a nose around the magic quarter while we're in town.
Right. So, how much are you leaving in the bank then? So, what are you got? You're leaving 3,000 gold in the Camber Ford.
Yeah.
How much are you leaving in the bank?
Well, I think we each have a moderately substantial amount of money on us, don't we?
Yep.
And there's
So-
obviously what you brought from Camber Ford too, as well.
Yes, exactly. So Moto suggests that the money we bring from the money and other items from Camber Ford go in the bank, and we keep what we have on us personally for the time being,
Makes
unless
sense.
someone wants to add that in, unless we want to maybe put. I mean, I'm moderately well loaded at the moment, I must admit. So maybe if we put 10% of what we hold in as well, just to buff that a little bit, because that's our leverage on keeping Camber Ford running and keeping the thieves on track, so to speak.
Yeah, you're going to have to obviously the expenditures that you could potentially sort of kind of will go forward from this. You're going to, if you want to do anything with the ship, which will be relatively well, it's not, the amount of gold and stuff you've got, it's not going to be too expensive, but it's going to be relatively expensive. Then
we can, if we have something done to the ship here, we can't cover it out of pocket. We can pop back to the bank.
Yeah,
but we don't want to be dragging all that around with us while we're and drawing a "please mug me" sign for any independent and aspiring thieves that might think about slitting a bag open and seeing what falls into their hands, for example.
Also, Lady Taunt is looking slightly worried. In general, she's looking sort of generally, you've got a figure that you've known for the last sort of month, being quite sort of strong and unfazed, is looking slightly
nervous
and uneasy at this moment in time.
So, well, first things first, don't we need to pay for the hotel?
Yeah.
So if we do that, that's a positive thing that might reassure her that we're a bit serious about this. So if we settle up with the hotel for everything, including tonight, if we I've got 4,000 gold pieces sitting in my pocket and a bunch of platinum and other stuff at the moment. So I don't know about you guys, but if we put what's in the cart, if we settle up and put what's in what we brought with us in the bank from the fort, and we use our own purse for the time being, we should be able to settle most fairly major things, because we've kind of been ripping the what out of bad guys' purses for the last couple of months. And if we show confidence, that should breed confidence in Lady Taunt. We're trying to take care of business here and show ourselves to be problem solvers, so that she doesn't feel like she's dealing with it all her own.
Are you talking to her, or are you just sort of...
This is quietly talking to each other.
Yeah.
And then if you guys agree on that, then we'll go from there. But we seem to have missed Lady Thomas, or is he still on his headset?
I'm on the headset.
Okay. So if you're all in agreement with that we'll start
talk
off by
amongst yourselves
settling
quickly.
the
This
hotel.
dog's barking for a moment.
If
Yes.
we settle the hotel up and show confidence to Lady Taunt and deal with tonight, and get the other resources squared away in a bank somewhere where they're safe, we have enough out of pocket to take care of most things, and we can always run back to the bank if we're not confident to take some out for dealing with things.
I'm good.
Right. Sorry. So
Yep.
what did we agree on?
So I turn around to Lady Taunt and say, "Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page. We've had to bring some resources back into town with us, because obviously Camber Ford was quite well damaged, and we want to put those in the bank. but we also need to obviously cover the cost of the hotel, because we agreed to cover that. So we're going to go and take care of that with management and include tonight. We'll talk to the captain, because obviously he's been here and helping, and I think we owe him a little bit of consideration and thanks. And we'll be with you tonight. Then in the morning we can release the delegates that want to go, because by that point we should have paid a couple of bounties, and the local cultists should be very busy finding holes to hide in and drag in after them. And if we show strength and confidence with them, and we can try to inspire them to support you, and we can show strength on your part as well, especially if we happen to if they happen to see cultists having accidents in the streets and the word gets back to them, that they don't have to worry about those same cultists arranging for accidents for them.
She's grateful for your efforts. But you can tell there's a lot more on her mind that she's not telling you, or sort of kind of mentioning to you and stuff. She's sort of, like you said, she's somebody who's been quite strong and unfazed by most things, is somewhat distracted.
I turn to the others and say, would you guys like to head to the bank, or actually no? If Tharavel and Draken, you have a chat with the manager of the hotel and settle up. I'd like to have a chat with the lady and discuss a few things, because I think it might be that we can be of service in other ways, and we need to take care of business in a number of places today. If that's okay with you?
As you wish.
Okay. Right. So Lance is talking to Lady Taunt. Draken, where are you off to?
Settle up with the hotel owner.
Okay.
Farival, was it?
Okay.
Yep.
Thomas, what are you up to?
I don't think there's much going on at the moment, so I'm just going to sit in the bar area and leaf through my notes from the last few days and just jog memory of what's happened.
Valashil, what are you up to?
I actually do not know what I'm up to. What's left to be done? Like, are we all just talking to Lady Taunt about our plans, or?
You can go with Lance if you wish.
Yeah.
Basically, you
We still need
have
to secure a crew for the ship.
Yeah, well, you need to sort of decide how long you're going to be staying in the area, what you're going to be doing with that time, what you're sort of kind of, obviously you're trying to deal with the cultist sort of infestation using the thieves to sort of deal with that. Though they are thieves, not assassins, so
I'm sure they know people they can subcontract for a small portion of 10 GB a kill.
Yeah. So they are, they're doing that. You've got potentially a threat in Kibarath. You've got Red Scale and Gibbons sort of floating around somewhere. Who could pop up, at some point in time. So you've got a few things to sort of think about. You've got the fact that Sir Alistair Taunt, it was Alistair, wasn't that Sir Father?
Sending the forces off to war.
No, he's basically taken a lot of his men off down to sort of kind of fight, leaving Taunt, pretty delicate. And there is potential that sort of kind of, the other cities might do the same to sort of try and deal with the situation. Because obviously if they lose that war, then they lose their home anyway. So,
But as I said, at the point at the moment, if we deal with a few things, we still then free up the rest of the day. And I want to find out why the lady is quite so unnerved, because that will give us information we can use to decide what to do next,
Yeah, you got a
and
point.
to reassess what our threats are and our priorities.
Yeah, Valish will accompany Lance to
Okay.
speak to Lady Taunt.
So
Okay.
I, as he comes over, I look to her inquiringly, and I'm assuming she nods that she hadn't minded coming along as well.
Yep.
So we adjourn to a quiet corner or a private room.
Yep. Okay, that's
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
Oh yeah, June chicka bow. Okay.
Lance has got a
Spectral-
match for this
spectral-
lady.
Spectral wings, not spectral wangs.
trying to romance her while while Galandra's sort of indisposed at
Yeah,
this
can I
moment.
roll like charisma just to see? Like,
Yeah,
give
if you
off
want to
this-
flirt, if you want to
No,
flirt
no,
with
no,
her.
no. I'm not making. No,
I
that's
want a
just-
really good line though. I want the
Ah.
you know. Ladies, if I could rearrange the alphabet, I put I and you together. Giggity. Okay, life without you, Lady Taunt's like a broken pencil. Pointless. Okay, so Draken and Tharaval and Serval, you kind of go in and you pay for, I think it was like 3 days, and it was like, I'm not sure how much we said it was going to cost you, but we'll say it costs, we'll say 200 gold for everybody to be paid for over the last couple of days, because, you know, hotel rooms are expensive and there's a lot of them and stuff. So, obviously, I'm assuming you're going to take that out of your
Balance.
Yeah, so we'll say instead of 1,600 for from the group loot, we'll say 1,800 for basically repairs, room and
Sundries.
board, yeah, and pension. So that's 1,800. So that's all being sort of that's being dealt with. After that's been dealt with, what would you like to do next? Now, obviously, we can do it where you can sort of spend a bit more time in Taunt. If you want to spend days in there, weeks in there, you know, we could do months. If you can stay as long as you kind of want, but the longer you stay, obviously, other stuff will happen around you and stuff. So you got to sort of bear in mind the other threats and things like that and stuff. So,
But as I said, they're doing stuff while we're talking to Lady Taunt, and that will inform how long we stay.
Okay.
So at the moment, they're doing stuff while me and Val are doing stuff.
Okay, right. So, all right. So you take Lady Taunt off, and she sort of sits down at one of the sort of tables and beckons over one of the serving wenches. She provides you with, provides Val and herself with some wine, knowing that obviously you don't really imbibe such liquids. She makes a joke, you know, I would offer you something, but I'm not sure if
joke's on her.
It's fine, my lady. It's fine, my lady. The company is more than enough for me.
Oh, you charmer. Val looks envious, you know.
I'm just gonna drink the wine and relax.
He's obviously still traumatized.
Drink wine and listen.
Just so I remember, how many honor points are you on, by the way?
I was on 10 last time, I believe.
10.
I just got to 10.
Was that after Camberford? Did I give you 5 after Camberford's little
I can't remember because I spent it, didn't I, to boost a random stat.
Yeah, so you spent 5, then you got another 5, which
Okay, so I think I was up to 10 then, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So, she sits down. The drinks come out, and she sort of looks at you and says, it seems we all have great burdens to deal with.
Well, part of our reason to be here is to help you with your burdens, to ensure that we don't have to deal with those burdens on our own. As you may have noticed, we are investing quite heavily in trying to keep this area from falling to less honourable influences, and part of that is that we've chosen to support you and your father. If we can help, we want to help, but we don't. If we don't know what to help with, how can we support you?
She. Oh, sorry. Let me. Oh. Sorry, birth for a minute. I'm just pissing around with things. Okay. Roll me. Yeah, roll me persuasion because it's sort of just to sort of kind of try and eke it out of her.
Oh God! Do I
You
get
got-
advantage because Val's there?
Yeah, you can have advantage because Val's there.
Radiant
Alright.
We're here.
Yeah. Okay.
charm.
Yeah.
I've been hanging around Draken for too long. It's
Yeah. So she basically, you know, she's had a drink and she just sort of kind of lets loose on all the issues she's kind of got and stuff. And she's like, she wants to make her father proud. As much as she's used to sort of commanding in battle, and she has no problem sort of. She's never been left in charge of a city before. She's worried that with all the insurgencies and all the stuff that's going to happen, that she may dishonor her family by not doing a good job. That she would have preferred, and she's worried about her father because she doesn't want to see him killed in the war. She's worried that there's not enough men to defend the city, to defend Balon in general. She's worried about Kibarath, and there's not going to be enough men or fleet or anything to assault the island and take it if needs be. She says there's a lot of things that need to be thought of, and it's sort of. She says, I've always worked hard and I've always been very independent and I've always done my duty, but I've never been in a situation where I've had so much sort of on me at one time. And even the strongest of us can show cracks now and again. And unfortunately, today is one of those days where the cracks are showing.
But how can I put this? As you may have noticed, I'm not a parent. I can't be a parent. That's just part of my nature. But as I understand it from the time I've spent with people and observing them, the first thing that any parent wants to do is to be proud of their child. There's some rare exceptions. Some people are broken, but you're saying that so far the challenges that you've done well at have all been in battle, and your father's been proud of you of that because you've succeeded. But he also knows you'll be succeeding him, which means that you need to be balanced. Because if you're only a warrior, you'll only look for war, and the city might fall under your inaction. It may fail, which is the root of the strength of your army. So what he's chosen to do is he's chosen to give you a test that he trusts you to work at and find a solution to. Correct?
She agrees with you. Yeah.
He wouldn't have left you in charge if he thought there was a problem. He was more likely to have taken you with him and left someone else in charge. So he trusts you to find a solution, but he wants you to realize that you can't fix every solution with a sword. Yes?
She agrees.
So we all fail at some point or another. The trick is for those failures to be small, because you can't be strong in every place. When you're in battle, do you run between all of your units, making sure they know what their orders are? Or do you delegate?
I delegate, obviously.
So surely what you need to be worrying about here is not about whether you can do everything correctly. You need to take stock of those people your father has left behind that he trusts, and find out their strengths and weaknesses if you don't know them, and try to support them to do the right things, because that will reflect well on you. And to know when to step in and when to step back.
Okay, so she sort of kind of thinks upon what you're saying, and she drinks a bit more, and she looks at you, and she says, "So delegation," and
but not just delegation, but realizing that you can't be everywhere and fix everything. So what you need to do is to figure out in a different context how to judge which things you need to worry about. If you worry about everything, you'll never sleep, you'll fall apart. I can get away with that. You can't. I don't have to sleep. You do. You need that to make good decisions. If you drive yourself nuts and you fall apart, that's the worst kind of failure, isn't it?
Okay. So, all right. So she poses some questions to you. She sort of says, I need men to man the walls. I need it would seem I would need a fleet to deal with the piracy in the south. And I would need stability within the city itself, or in my sort of authoritative area in her sort of kind of they've got like sections of the city of Balon that they're sort of kind of in charge of, where you know I can only get so much from the I can only get so much from the bank, and my father has already taken out many loans to pay for his expedition, his crusade to the south, leaving me with little resource and not much to sort of go with.
So, can I just make a suggestion? The two, you have three problems. There are two that are immediate, one which is something that needs to be worked on, correct?
Agreed.
So you need the city to be secure and safe to give people confidence to support you, which will enable you to look at how you can make resources available to deal with piracy, correct?
Yes.
If you're not seen to be strong, the confidence that you need to collect taxes, to leverage loans, whatever, that is very much attached to that. So you don't necessarily need soldiers to keep watch, but you need soldiers to respond and to show strength, correct? Do you have a city watch, or do you have scouts, like youth groups or something like that? And maybe you could, or apprentices or something like that, trainees. So you don't need people that can fight to keep watch. You just need enough people that can stay awake and throughout the day to cover watches, to look out. And you need a backbone of people to teach them what to look for. Correct?
She says agreed, but we've had men taken for the war already. My father's taken pretty much 3/4 of the remainders, and a lot of the able men have either followed you, fallen at Silkside, have gone to war. We are a shell of a city at this moment in time.
So, with your veterans, your wounded veterans, what usually happens with them?
They're either in convalescent homes.
So how many of those convalescent veterans could sit on the battlements to keep watch and ring a bell or blow a horn?
He'll train.
and feel useful, and to help to train people. Yeah. How many of those veterans can help you to get more value and more strength from those that are left that are able-bodied?
She says to you, I understand where you're coming from, but you're not understanding me. We don't have the manpower in this city to do everything.
No.
And the funds to deal with that situation. I don't have the funds to hire even mercenaries to come in or to ask for help from other areas and stuff. I'm asking these diplomats to send men away to the war, not to defend my my walls.
But my point is more that you just need to be seen to be strong. You don't need to be strong. So if you use those who are able-bodied to be moving around on the streets and so on, but if you look at maybe using veterans or trainees or apprentices to man watch points on the top and to raise the alert if there's a problem, then you can give the appearance of strength in the short to mid-term. Yeah, and that takes care of an immediate issue. Now, we don't know what's happening in the ruins with the cultists and whatever else that's doing there. We can go and look at that. As we proved at Silkside, sometimes a smaller group can succeed where a larger army commitment isn't immediately necessary until you've proven what the threat is. And I have a sneaking suspicion that what's happening in those ruins at Kiberath is probably going to be tied to the piracy, because it's another of these problems that is weakening the motivation from those at this end of the world to support the war in the south. So we can, if we can put together a crew for the ship that my colleague has acquired, we can go and investigate what's going on there and see if we can take care of it, or at least distract and push them and set them back, which can give you some leverage. In the meantime, you gain some time to look at the problem and look at if you can maybe source some resources from outside of the city, or we can look at how we can do something creative in the meantime and look for inspirational resources while we're en route to places. And overall, what we want to be trying to do here is we don't need a long-term fix at the moment. We need a short-term fix while we find what options we have. Your father, as you said, has left you with half a purse of gold and 3 or 4 purses worth of expenses and problems. But as long as people don't know that the other purses are empty and they don't look, that gives us a chance to try and either find resources, and worst comes to worst, if we find plenty of resources, we can pay taxes, extend loans, whatever, to try and help you to show strength. We may even be able to source a weapon, or we may find access to people that are willing to come and help. Or we can, at that point in time, we're only 6 or 7 bodies, but if we can leverage our experience and and our abilities and whatever favors we're owed by DTs or others, we can try and find some extra resources for you and help you to project the strength you need to project in order to solve some of your problems.
Okay. Okay. So she sort of she doesn't say anything. She sort of kind of nods her head and drinks a bit more and starts pondering your sort of kind of your sort of kind of your words and things like that. What are you sort of what's the score next? What's
So the things that she needs help with are things that we're best placed to do by traveling where she's got no one she can leave, no one else she can send off. So my thought would be to see if we can source enough people to crew the ship and get going down towards Kiberath and try and figure out what's going on.
So you okay?
Let's come the next day, and as I said, we show strength with her until and wait for the diplomats to be freed tomorrow and make their way off. And we look at paying the first of the payments for bounties before we head off. And in the meantime, that gives us some time in the city to try and look for resources that we need or want. And come the morning, we go hunting for solutions and possibly bits and pieces of people. In the case of what happens when we tend to let Draken pop into the house first.
Okay. All right. So, Val, is there anything else you want to add to that?
No.
Tharaval and Draken, what are you up to?
What else do we need to do?
Well,
I mean, I've got
the bank.
Spend money, yeah, that's a good idea.
Right, so basically, you've got what I just need to know how long you're staying here, what your sort of kind of plans are. It's not going to be like, because we've been doing it day by day, so it's now you've got a situation where you've got a lot of things that are affecting the situation. So it could just be like, okay, if you want to go shopping, or you can do that, or you can do it. But the thing is, are you gonna spend X amount of time training for something? Are you going to try and are you going to try and man the boat that you've got? If you man it, are you literally just going to sail it down to Kiberath and sort of land it somewhere? Are you going to investigate beforehand? How long are you spending in the city? When are you going? Things like that. Because obviously, you've got.
I don't think we have time for training. I don't have time for training, but I think we do have time for a quick.
We can do some training on the ship as well. Yeah,
well, bear in mind, it's not. You got to look about it this way. We've done things quite quickly and stuff. It's not like you have to go. For it takes time for their forces to build up or whatever, for you to get there and back, figure out what's going on, build up whatever you're going to do, deal with the situation that's going on there, get investigations into Red Scale and stuff like that. So you've got lots of little sort of kind of branches you kind of need to deal with. So, and you don't have to go, we've got to do this tomorrow, we've got to do this today,
But the point is, the longer we take before we do things that can help Taunt or Lady Taunt, the more chance is that she will run out of resources herself, or something will go horribly wrong. If we can, so my idea was to try and find a quick fix to something, so that we can focus on the long-term stuff by trying to man the ship and nail the Kiberath issue. And the Kiberath issue may draw Red Scale to us as well, because
if he's there,
or it may not be there. But by acting against something that is in the enemy's favour, he may be drawn there with Gibbons to try and blunt us, and that might draw him out of hiding, where we can try and take a more permanent solution to the problem.
She sort of says that what she worries about is if we attack Kiberath, this Red Scale and his magician might attack Taunt in our absence.
Red Scale seems to be taking this quite personally. He made a point of going after Draken first.
Draken made a point of going after him, but okay.
Well, no, but he was baiting you. He stood there and he baited you from where I'm standing. And if Gibbons could teleport him, he could have teleported him inside the compound, or he could have teleported him after you started running, so you're out of the way. but he made a point of beating you down and humiliating you.
He's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
So that's my thought, is that what we can do here is we can force them to react to us. So with the thieves taking on the cultist, and if we move against Kibera, we can try and force the enemy to respond to us and keep the focus away from Taunt.
On the offensive. You're
Yes.
talking about. Yeah, I agree. Yes.
The best
Yes.
defense in this situation, where they have more resources than we do, is
It's
a good
fireball.
it's a good offense, which may include fireball, but
What
we
do
want
you
them
mean may
reacting.
include fireball?
Well,
Will.
but it depends. It depends. Sometimes you want your steak only very very lightly cooked, not like great.
Inferno every time.
But in this case, my suggestion is we simply we do what we can to shore up the defenses here in the short term. We go out and we kick some doors in and force the enemy to react to us by holding their plots at risk. They're trying to nibble away at our strength, so that
just so you know, these are, as much as they are both sort of bad guys, they're separate factions, if you will. So Red Scale and Gibbons are a part of a different faction. This new faction may be working in concert with them, but they are separate entities.
It's more about, I'm just trying to make lots of noise to keep them distracted and keep them reacting to us. He's trying that the enemy seems to be doing lots of things to try and lead us around by the nose. So my suggestion is we start doing the opposite. We start trying to drag them around by the nose and forcing them to react to us, because they're doing lots of things in different places to try and keep everyone spread out, because then it ruins our strength. We can't focus our strength anywhere.
I think you're right. Take the fight to the enemy.
Yeah.
Go on the offensive. We don't have to. I think what we need, rather than a mass army, is we need a small elite unit of ourselves to go in, kick some bins over, and take some names. Now, Thomas, do you have spells that can create an area of silence?
I did have that. I think I gave that one up because I traded around for something else. Because remember, I used it in the bar. But
can't hear.
No, I still got it. No, I still got it. No, it's okay. I still got it.
Can't hear you.
So what we could do is use that for any mayhem we for essentially stealth ourselves by essentially using.
Right. So all right. So your plan. I shouldn't be helping you, but your plan is literally just to sneak in to an area that you don't know, across a sea that is known to have krakens in it, on a ship that you don't know how to sail, intel's a good thing. Finding out what's going on, just sort of.
The first thing was to find a crew to help us sail the ship. Yeah. The second thing was to go down to try and find out what's going on, and if it's something we can deal with, we can. If it's not, then we get the fuck out of there and we look at what the next solution should be. Yeah.
Captain, if you it's a large vessel, they'll see you coming.
Mm-hmm.
So
you dock somewhere, don't dock there, but some distance away.
Just like send a small paddle boat out with some explosives on and blow it up.
Look, all I'm saying is, it's not going to be an easy ride.
Yeah, no.
To this, and so just think about this carefully, because if you go all or nothing,
Be all or nothing. Yeah.
You know, it could be literally, you know, you just sort of, you've got to weigh
Don't
everything.
want to lose our ship straight after getting it either.
Yeah,
so.
you've got to just weigh stuff up because it's not like, you know.
But this is the point that I'm talking to people at the moment.
Yeah.
And saying that this is my idea.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm thinking that.
I don't know. It's tough.
And also, I think some of us need to do a bit of shopping. I mean, Draken's after something extra defensive.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what we'll do then, because it's coming up to 11, it's 11 o'clock now, so we'll sort of kind of like leave it. Obviously, I think Michael's having issues with his connection and stuff. We'll leave it here, and what we'll do is, I want basically in the sort of kind of
argue about it offline.
in the chat,
Yeah.
in the what's it called, the Discord chat, basically don't put like your back, just sort of, you can have your back and forth RP on stuff, but I would like sort of your plan on like how you're going to deal with these situations, if you're going to deal with certain ones, how long you're going to spend in the city, where you want to go. You know, are you going to do any training? Are you going to try and recruit people? Are you spending any money? Are you supporting this, that, and the other? And we'll work off that way and stuff, and then we can sort of have a better. I would prefer we do this sort of now in the RP chat than sort of, because as you know, we spent a long time just talking over logistics tonight and stuff like that, so it's probably best we sort
I mean, I don't mind it though. Like I find it pretty entertaining listening and being part of it. So
yeah, no, that's cool. I don't mind it either. It's just sort of like if we get a bit of a better idea, because I don't want an argument over. Because I think if you've got a bit more time think about it. Let's just say I'm ramping up I'm going to ramp up the sort of difficulty a bit more and stuff, because you guys are just like storming through stuff, so I'm going to be sort of throwing in curveballs and stuff. So as much as you are quite good at anticipating other things and messing with my plans, let's just say it's not going to go as straightforward as it would go and stuff. So that's why I'm throwing in. You've got effectively 3 main threats here and stuff with other things.
Could we potentially like get a list on the Discord then of everything that we need to sort out, like just so we can look through it and check it off?
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do that. We'll leave it there then. We'll subtract how much you owe off what, you know. I'll stick that in the loot chat and stuff, so it's all on there. And then we'll try and hash out over the next week, over next session, sort of kind of what the sort of kind of plan is, and then we can go from there and stuff. Because also I need to sort of figure out what area I'm going to focus on preparing for and stuff, because if there's lots of different things and you're like, I'm going to do this, it's probably best we just go, right, we're spending X amount of time here, we're going to do this, and then I can sort of have an idea of where we're going from and I don't have to wing it. So yeah, okay, cool. Right, we'll do that then. Cool. All right, awesome. So thanks very much everybody for listening. Much appreciated. For myself, I've been Matt Geary. With me tonight has been Dave as Thomas Moonstar.
Fireballs are coming.
Wes as Valshil Nostius.
Good night, everyone.
Mark as Lance.
It's going to be a long week.
Pete as Draken.
Good night, everyone. Take care of each other.
And Michael Starval, but he's buggered off somewhere, so bye. See you all later.
Bye.
Bye.